As you can see behind me, the damage is extensive, leaving much of the building in large piles of debris. Because of this damage, officials are not saying what could have caused the fire, but many tenants were saying that they were not happy with the upkeep of their homes. Today, emergency services met with these residents to discuss their next step. 2,000 cards have been printed so far, and the distribution will begin tonight. Pivot and Suave have also written letters to police departments across Canada, encouraging them to develop similar programs. Janella Hamilton in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine. Tenants observed the large piles of remains that they once called home. Over 24 hours after the massive blaze broke out, firefighters continue to comb through rubble. Officials have not confirmed the source of the fire, but many residents say the building was poorly maintained.
Our smoke alarms did not go off, and I have not heard anybody else who said their smoke alarm was working.
Even in my basement where the stuff was like that, wiring scary. Like every time you go down there, you're like, God, this is old. Like there's definitely faults with the wiring for sure.
As far as I'm concerned, it was a slumlord-run building that we had taken to court for residential tenancy many times, called inspectors many times.
Following the fire, the government provided 72 hours of accommodations for victims at a local hotel. Burnaby fire officials are saying 35 families are left homeless after the fire. Victims of the fire received help to determine their next steps.
We gave the evacuees some information on what resources were available for them for this recovery phase of their incident, and then we broke out into small interviews to assess the needs of each of the evacuees.
Officials say the building is unsafe and will be torn down, forcing over 100 people to find a new home within a matter of days. Janella Hamilton in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine. DJ Joe used to walk this street for 14 years and knows firsthand the dangers of being a sex worker.
These girls need more help than anything, especially in the downtown east side, because these girls do experience a lot of experience being out here on the street, and it's not that easy to come forward to make a report, because sometimes they don't want to make a report because they're too shy or they're too scared, or they can go into hiding because they don't want to make a report.
Joe says one of the reasons sex workers are afraid to come forward is because they're unaware of their rights. In response to this fear, Pivot Legal Society and Sex Workers United Against Violence have started a new program to help prostitutes feel safer.
The cards, as you can see, are small. They're designed to fit into a back pocket or into a wallet. The idea is that sex workers can read it. It provides a simple message that hopefully will empower sex workers to understand what their rights are and therefore be able to go out and live more safely in their communities.
Pivot's litigation director, Katrina Pacey, hopes the card will encourage sex workers to trust authority.
Our goal would be that they feel encouraged and empowered to come forward to police to report if they're victims of violence. The policy in the card really shifts their awareness of the way the police are required to respond, and that the police are required and will respond in a way that's really effective and meaningful and proactive.
2,000 cards have been printed so far, and the distribution will begin tonight. Pivot and Suave have also written letters to police departments across Canada, encouraging them to develop similar programs. Janella Hamilton in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
Happy Monday! Happy Megaphone Day!
Megaphone is Vancouver's street paper and has been running for 20 years. The paper is sold daily on the streets by homeless and low-income vendors. A longtime supporter of the magazine and its non-profit organization is singer Biff Naked.
I'm a huge fan of the magazine and, of course, of each of the vendors. You know, again, these are honest men, many of whom are seniors. They're citizens of our community. They're making an earnest effort to make a living. And that's something that I think is inspiring, and I want to try and encourage them.
Megaphone has over 30 vendors who buy the paper at a small fee and sell it for a larger donation. Vancouver Mayor Gregor Robertson was joined by these vendors and volunteers of the organization as the city proclaimed December 17, 2012 Megaphone Appreciation Day. Bob Dennis has been selling the Megaphone paper since 2008.
It's a really good idea. It's a benefit to the community and particularly to homeless people. I have my own column about growing up Vancouver, Winnipeg, and you got the horoscopes, you know, and vendor profile and social issues, stories about downtown East Side, you know, celebrities too, you know.
It's been a direct benefit for me. Bob sells up the street here close to where I live at a store that I shop. I've seen him there for years, and that has become a source of good information and different stories, different info from what the mainstream media have, different from what you hear on the radio or the TV. So it's a unique source that goes right to the heart of who Vancouver is.
I think that all of us have periods in our lives where we needed support from our local governments and our communities, and we are enabled, therefore, to rise up and be able to pull ourselves up with that support of our community.
It's a great honor for me to recognize this day on behalf of all Vancouverites. Well, I'm hopeful that more and more people in Vancouver will recognize what Megaphone is, how important it is to support the vendors, people who are doing this work in the street and spreading these stories. So I think there's still a lot of people that don't quite know what it is. They don't recognize the salespeople where they work, and those are great connections to be making. It's a good thing to promote.
In Vancouver, I'm Janella Hamilton for Go Vancouver.